Zainal, and this is Nightline, news making the headlines. Muhyiddin claims trial after being hit with sedition charge. And social media licensing to continue despite industry pushback. Good morning. We begin with this story. Perikatan Nasional Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin was charged in the Gua Musang Sessions Court on Tuesday to a charge of making seditious remarks during the campaign for the Nenggiri State by-election in Kelantan recently. He pleaded not guilty when the charge was read to him before Judge Nik Muhammad Tarmizi Nik Muhammad Shukri. Muhyiddin, who is also Bersatu president, was alleged to have uttered the seditious remarks in an open area near Dewan Semai Bakti Felda Perasu between 10:30 p.m. and 11:50 p.m. last August 14th. The alleged seditious remark was over his claim of not being invited by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong to take the oath as Prime Minister after the 15th general election, despite getting the support of 115 out of 222 members of Parliament then. The charge was framed under the Sedition Act, which provides a fine not exceeding 5,000 ringgit or imprisonment for up to 3 years or both if found guilty. The former Prime Minister was allowed bail of 5,000 ringgit with one surety. The court fixed November 4th for case mention. In the meantime, the Inspector General of Police has denied that the investigation into Muhyiddin's case was done hastily. Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussein explained that the police had announced that any investigations should be completed within 7 days, while the decision to charge in court lies with Attorney General's chambers.
Dia kena mengena tergesa-gesa. Kalau kata hari ni siasat besok tuduh mungkin tergesa-gesa. Dalam masa 7 hari, mungkin siasatan itu akan habis dalam masa 4 hari dan kita telah hantar kepada pihak AGC. Dan AGC juga mungkin akan mengambil masa 1 atau 2 hari ataupun dia mengambil masa dalam 24 jam saja disebabkan keterangan itu mencukupi.
He was speaking to the media after the launch of the Kampung Angkat Madani program at Kampung Jenal Dabong in Kuala Krai. Meanwhile, Razaruddin said a total of 178 reports have been received on cases of 3R issues since March 2023. He said all the reports were handled by the Bukit Aman Classified Crimes Investigation Unit before the investigation papers were submitted to the Attorney General's chambers for further action. He added that a number of the cases have been charged in court and some are still under investigation. Now, Malaysia is moving forward with the licensing requirement for social media and online messaging platforms, which is slated to take effect on January 1st next year. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil said the government has no plans to delay its implementation despite pushback from some tech giants.
Dan saya berpendirian bahawa dalam perbincangan saya dengan wakil syarikat-syarikat sewaktu kami bertemu di Singapura, mereka menyatakan pandangan yang positif dan saya kekal dengan pendirian itu.
According to Fahmi, the implementation of the licensing framework will proceed as scheduled as part of the government's proactive measures to protect the interests and safety of users in Malaysia. He said this in response to industry group Asia Internet Coalition, AIC, whose members include Google, Meta, X, Apple and Amazon. The AIC had recently published an open letter to Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim urging him to pause the plan, claiming that the proposed licensing regime was unworkable for the industry. However, ride-hailing and food delivery firm Grab, also a member of the group, was reported to have distanced itself from the letter, saying that they had no part in it.
Dia big tech, but our laws are bigger. Jadi kalau dia nak beroperasi di Malaysia, dia mesti hormat dan patuh dengan undang-undang kita.
Fahmi also stated that the government has yet to make a final decision and is open to discussions with AIC on the matter. Under the new regulatory framework, social media and online messaging platforms with more than 8 million users will be required to obtain licenses and can face legal action if they fail to do so by January 1st, 2025. Meanwhile, the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, in a statement on Tuesday, explained that social media and online messaging service providers have ample time to comply with the country's plans to regulate these platforms. It said that a 5-month grace period had been provided for all platforms to meet the licensing requirements. MCMC added that within this period, it will continue to actively engage with service providers to facilitate the smooth transition into the new regulatory framework by January 1st next year. In view of this, MCMC urged service providers to make every effort to ensure their operations align with local laws and regulations. MCMC also said that it will conduct a public inquiry on the proposed licensing requirement to ensure the final framework is fair, effective, and meets the needs of both the industry and the public. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim on Tuesday received a courtesy call from Saudi Arabia's Minister for Hajj and Umrah, Dr. Taufik Fauzan Muhammad Al Rabia, together with his delegation at Perdana Putra, Putrajaya. During the courtesy call, they discussed the development and improvement of matters related to Malaysians who performed Hajj and Umrah, especially with the cooperation of the Saudi government. Now, Anwar in his Facebook posting said discussions were also held on bilateral relationships and initiatives that can improve cooperation in sectors such as investment, trade, aviation, and higher education. In his posting, the Prime Minister also welcomed the hosting of the upcoming 2025 Hajj Expo by Saudi Arabia. He added that Tabung Haji, TH, has also been invited to share its experience in managing and implementing Malaysian Hajj operations. Dr. Taufik is on a working visit to Malaysia, which began on Monday, aimed at further strengthening bilateral relations between the governments of Saudi Arabia and Malaysia. 2 Johor policemen were severely injured after a bomb disposal exercise went awry, triggering a landslide in Kluang on Tuesday. It was understood that the cops were buried under debris from the landslide at a residential construction site in Jalan Tabah, Taman Sri Lamba, around 3 p.m. Now, both victims, Corporal Abdul Halim Zainal and Corporal Muhammad Faruqi Shamsari, were rescued by firefighters and rushed to the Encik Besar Hajah Kalsum Hospital. A police report of the incident said that the 2 cops are currently in the hospital's intensive care unit, as both of them were said to be experiencing breathing difficulties. One of the policemen sustained a broken hip, internal bleeding, and a broken rib, while the other sustained a broken thigh. According to sources, the policemen attached to the Johor Police Contingent's Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit were digging a hole to dispose of a bomb when the walls of the hole suddenly collapsed on top of them. Police are expected to release a statement on the incident soon. A ground-penetrating radar GPR device has been deployed in the search and rescue SAR operation for an Indian woman who disappeared after falling into a sinkhole at Jalan Masjid India last Friday. The device brought in by the Malaysian Nuclear Agency was spotted at the scene at 11 a.m. on Tuesday, accompanied by a technical team from the Kuala Lumpur City Hall, DBKL, monitoring the operation. The GPR operates by emitting electromagnetic waves into the ground in order to detect the position of the victim, and was also used in the Batangkali landslide in December 2022. The operation, which entered its 5th day, resumed at 8 a.m. with rescuers utilizing various methods to search for the victim, including push rods and crawler cameras in the manhole networks. In the afternoon, rescuers also enlisted the help of 2 K9 unit dogs from the Fire and Rescue Department. At the same time, flushing and jetting operations were carried out at several sewer drains. However, in a statement later, DBKL said that the push rods and crawler cameras method failed to yield results. Consequently, the SAR team continued their efforts at the Indah Water Consortium IWK Pantai Dalam treatment plant, while the search at Jalan Masjid India has been expanded to the sidewalk next to the sinkhole. The victim, identified as 48-year-old Vijaya Lachumi, who was in Malaysia with her family for a vacation, was walking to a temple near Jalan Masjid India when she was swallowed by the 8-meter-deep sinkhole at 8:22 a.m. on Friday. In Perak, a 17-year-old boy was charged in the Sungai Siput Magistrates Court on Tuesday with the murder of 10-year-old Orang Asli girl Nuraina Humaira Rosli. The accused, who is a relative of the victim, only nodded in understanding when the charge was read to him before Magistrate Nurul Ashifa Redzwan. No plea was recorded as murder cases fall under the jurisdiction of the High Court. According to the charge, the teen is accused of murdering Nuraina Humaira in a swampy area near Kampung Bersah, Pos Kuala Mu between 2:30 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. on August 16th. The charge is framed under the Penal Code, which carries the death penalty or imprisonment of up to 40 years and a minimum of 12 strokes of the cane if convicted. Juvenile offenders must be imprisoned for a period deemed appropriate as per Section 97, Bracket 2 of the Child Act. The court set October 28th for case remention. Nuraina Humaira was reported missing on August 16th before her body was discovered in the swampy area located about 100 meters away from her house the next day. In Selangor, a security guard and his wife were charged in the Selayang Magistrates Court on Tuesday with murdering the woman's 8-year-old daughter on August 17th. However, no plea was recorded as the case is under the jurisdiction of the High Court. The two accused, 29-year-old Muhammad Zulhelmi Amiruddin and 30-year-old Nur Fariza Radzi, were jointly charged with murdering Nur Anissa Afira Muhammad Zulhafiz. The couple allegedly committed the offence at an apartment unit in Bandar Tasik Putri, Rawang, between 11:51 a.m. and 3:51 p.m. The charge under the Penal Code provides the death sentence or up to 40 years imprisonment and whipping of not less than 12 times upon conviction. Magistrate Chai Guan Hock set October 16th for case mention and did not allow bail for both accused. Earlier, several people believed to be Nur Anissa's relatives were seen screaming at the accused as they were brought to court. It was previously reported that an 8-year-old girl died after being kicked and beaten, including with a belt, hanger, and a blunt object. An initial examination of the victim's body revealed injuries to her face, lips, thighs, chin, and knees. India police fire tear gas at protesters. This and more from the Foreign Front when Nightline returns.
Dia seorang yang kecil orang dia. Adakah dia seorang penjenayah?
Pastikan semua tu berjalan lancar. Duit memang okey ya.
Benda ni takkan kurang kalau kata masyarakat kita pun bersekongkol sekali.
Diam.
Kecuali masyarakat kita ni ada semangat cinta Malaysia tu negara dia.
Diving deep into the business world.
With expert insights and in-depth analysis.
The latest trends and developments shaping the country, region and the globe.
Key insights into finance.
On Money Matters.
Every Saturday at 5 p.m.
on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
Apabila datang, ia boleh mengambil alih kesemuanya tubuh, minda dan hidup anda. Stres bukan sekadar tekanan perasaan tetapi boleh mengancam kesihatan secara keseluruhan. Kenalilah tanda-tanda stres sejak awal dan bincang mengenainya secara terbuka. Dapatkan sokongan moral dan emosi daripada orang di sekeliling anda serta bantuan profesional di saluran yang betul. Saksikan Hello Doktor Ahad 5:30 petang di TV3.
We're back with the Foreign Front. Indian police fired tear gas and water cannons to disperse thousands of protesters marching in the eastern city of Kolkata on Tuesday, demanding the resignation of a top state minister in the wake of a gruesome rape and murder of a trainee doctor. More than 5,000 policemen were deployed in Kolkata and the neighboring city of Howrah as the protests, led by some university students, took off to demand the resignation of West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. The protesters shouted slogans and clashed with police who charged the crowd with batons in an effort to disperse it. Numerous protests in Kolkata, prompted by the crime, have transformed into unruly political rallies, with police scuffling with demonstrators from the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party, or BJP, angry at the state government. The Hindu nationalists, BJP, is the party of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but it is an opposition party in West Bengal, of which Kolkata is the capital. They have accused Banerjee's government of creating an unsafe environment for women that allowed crimes, including the doctor's murder, to occur. South Korea's president on Tuesday called for digital sex crimes to be thoroughly investigated after media reported that sexually explicit deep-fake images and videos of South Korean women were often found in Telegram chat rooms. Now, during a televised cabinet meeting, Yoon said it is an exploitation of technology while relying on the protection of anonymity, stressing it is a clear criminal act. Following this, the country's state media regulator is set to convene a meeting on Wednesday to discuss new measures in order to counter the rising threat of deepfake crimes. While the president did not directly mention Telegram, his comments came as the application faces increased criticism due to the arrest of its founder, Pavel Durov, over the weekend. Durov was detained in France as part of an investigation into child pornography, drug trafficking, and fraud conducted through the encrypted messaging app. Typhoon Shan was churning towards southwestern Japan, bringing heavy rain and disrupting bullet trains and flights. The powerful storm had sustained wind gusts of up to 193 kilometers per hour on Tuesday, equivalent to a Category 3 hurricane. As the typhoon slowly approaches the Amami Islands, an archipelago southwest of Japan's mainland, the Japanese Meteorological Agency said that the storm is expected to dump up to 40 centimeters of rain on the islands from midday Tuesday to midday Wednesday. Therefore, the agency has urged residents to evacuate from dangerous places, warning of potential landslides in the central Shizuoka area and high waves hitting the southern Amami region. The heavy rains also prompted Japan Airlines to cancel 116 domestic flights on Tuesday and Wednesday, as well as 6 international flights. After approaching the Amami Islands, the powerful storm is predicted to veer towards the main southern island of Kyushu by Thursday. Now, at least 30 people were killed after surging waters burst through a dam in Eastern Sudan, devastating a region already reeling from months of civil war. The Arbat Dam, which sits 40 kilometers north of Port Sudan, reportedly collapsed amid torrential rains, engulfing at least 20 villages. The United Nations said the flooding has damaged the homes of around 50,000 people, adding that the figure only accounted for the area west of the dam, as the area east was inaccessible. Additionally, over 100 people were reportedly missing, and that many had fled to rocky hilltops to escape the flooding. The dam is a crucial facility in Port Sudan, serving as a primary source of fresh water for the city. The reported damage is expected to have a substantial impact on water supplies to Port Sudan, worsening the humanitarian situation. Djokovic joins Fritz in second round. Sports after this breather.
Di padang sawana yang luas, siapa yang akan bertahan? Mendominasi rantai makanan di benua Afrika.
They must kill to survive.
Alam yang kembali bangkit menguasai.
After the wildfires.
Saksikan keajaiban alam setiap Rabu dan Khamis 5 petang di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Mire semakin sukar membuat pilihan setelah kehadiran Wu Yang.
너보다 더 못 마셔. 내가 너 좋아하는 거? 누가? 우영이 아니야?
Dan apakah agenda yang cuba diaturkan Suah?
이래도 아무 느낌이 없어?
괜찮니?
아니었나 봐요.
My ID is Gangnam Beauty, Rabu hingga Kamis 11 malam di slot Cam Sarang TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Betul. Dia seorang yang kecil orang dia. Adakah dia seorang penjenayah?
Pastikan semua tu berjalan lancar. Duit memang okey ya.
Benda ni takkan kurang kalau kata masyarakat kita pun bersekongkol sekali.
Diam.
Kecuali masyarakat kita ni ada semangat cinta Malaysia tu negara dia.
Sports tennis, the 2024 US Open. Defending champion Novak Djokovic joined France's Tiafoe and Taylor Fritz in the second round as he claimed an easy victory over Radu Albot. Djokovic looked set for a cruising victory as he claimed the first two sets 6-2, 6-2. Albot tried to provide some fights in the decider, but Djokovic remained calm to claim a 6-4 win. The former world number one Serb will next play compatriot Laslo Djere. Joining Djokovic was Tiafoe. The American defeated compatriot Alexander Kovacevic 6-4, 6-3, 4-6, 7-5 to set a second-round clash with Alexander Shevchenko of Kazakhstan. Also in the next round was Fritz. The American number one beat Camilo Ugo Carabelli of Argentina 7-5, 6-1, 6-2 to reach the second round of the competition, where he will face Matteo Berrettini. In the women's category, defending champion Coco Gauff booked her spot in the second round after a 6-2, 6-love win over France's Varvara Grecheva. The 20-year-old will face Germany's Tatiana Maria in the second round on Wednesday. Also in the second round, the Wimbledon champion Barbora Krejcikova defeated Marina Bassols Ribera of Spain 7-6, 6-2 to set a clash with Elena Gabriela Rusev of Romania. Moving on to football now, EPL side Manchester United have reached an agreement with Paris Saint-Germain to sign Uruguayan midfielder Emmanuel Ugarte. Now, 23-year-old Ugarte is on the verge of joining United for $55.8 million with up to $11.15 million in add-ons. He made 25 appearances in Ligue 1 last season, helping PSG secure the title and the Coupe de France, as well as featuring 8 times in the Champions League. The move comes at the same time as homegrown midfielder Scott McTominay leaves for Napoli for a proposed $33.5 million. Fourth suspect in Jason Machete attack remanded. The details when we come back.
Kekal cakna, kekal sihat. Hello Doktor merungkai pelbagai persoalan kesihatan anda.
Penyakit kronik, pemakanan, kesihatan mental, semuanya demi kesejahteraan anda.
Setiap minggu bersama tenaga pakar kesihatan terbaik Malaysia, segalanya terjawab dalam Hello Doktor setiap Ahad
5.30 petang di TV3
dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Di padang sawana yang luas, siapa yang akan bertahan? Mendominasi rantai makanan di benua Afrika.
They must kill to survive.
Alam yang kembali bangkit menguasai.
After the wildfires.
Saksikan keajaiban alam setiap Rabu dan Kamis 5 petang di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Betul. Dia seorang yang kecil orang dia. Adakah dia seorang penjenayah?
Pastikan semua tu berjalan lancar. Duit memang okey ya.
Benda ni takkan kurang kalau kata masyarakat kita pun bersekongkol sekali.
Diam.
Kecuali masyarakat kita ni ada semangat cinta Malaysia tu negara dia.
Thanks for staying with us. In Malacca, the fourth suspect believed to be involved in the machete attack that resulted in the death of a man in Jasin has been remanded for 7 days starting Tuesday. Magistrate Mazana Sinin granted the remand application on the 21-year-old male suspect at the Jasin Magistrates Court to facilitate police investigations into the case. According to police, the suspect was arrested in the Jasin Bestari area at about 11 p.m. on Monday. Prior to the arrest, 3 other individuals aged 21, 22 and 31 were remanded until September 1st over their alleged involvement in the fatal attack on Sunday. It was believed that the victim and the suspects knew each other, but the motive of the attack is still being determined by police. In the 8:39 p.m. incident, the 24-year-old victim, who works as an excavator operator, was attacked by a group of masked men armed with machetes in front of a barbershop in Taman Rimbaru. The assailants then proceeded to follow the victim, who was taken to Jasin Hospital by his younger brother, and attacked him again outside the medical facility. The victim was pronounced dead at 10:15 p.m. while receiving treatment at the hospital, while his younger brother was chased by the group but managed to escape. Authorities are currently tracking down the remaining suspects. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for murder. Meanwhile, in Sarawak, an enforcement assistant in Kuching was remanded by the Kuching Magistrates Court on Tuesday on suspicion of receiving bribes from diesel smugglers operating in Cebu. The 6-day remand order on the man was issued by Magistrate Mason Jaro Linya Barayan to facilitate investigations into the case by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC. According to sources, the man in his 40s was arrested at the Sarawak MACC office at 3:25 p.m. on Monday after his statement was recorded. The arrest follows op liter conducted by the MACC Special Operations Division on a diesel storage depot in Sungai Bidut, Cebu on Sunday. The suspect is believed to have accepted bribes from the syndicate to protect its diesel smuggling operation and avoid legal action. MACC Special Operations Division Senior Director Dato Azmi Kamaruzaman said the case is being investigated under the MACC Act. He also did not rule out the possibility of more arrests in the near future. It was reported previously that 3 men and 2 women were arrested and remanded for their alleged involvement in misappropriating subsidized diesel meant for fishermen. Following the raid on Sunday, 2 barges, 30 storage tanks containing 1.6 million litres of diesel and 3.7 million ringgit in cash were seized. The syndicate is believed to have been operating since 2012, raking in profits of up to 400 million ringgit from the diesel smuggling activities. A businessman with a Datuk title has been slapped with 3 charges in the Shah Alam Sessions Court for cheating 2 individuals in relation to a non-existent highway project in 2022 and 2023. Datuk Muhammad Firdaus Khairuddin pleaded not guilty after the charges were read out to him before the Sessions Court judge. The 50-year-old was charged with cheating 2 men aged 58 and 54 into handing over 5 million ringgit in connection with a project to design and construct a purported Northern Expressway alternative road. The highway was supposed to run from Padang Besar in Perlis to Changkat Jering in Perak, passing through Bukit Kayu Hitam, Jitra, Padang Terap, Teloi and Kulim. He was said to have committed the offence between November 4th and 9th, 2022. Firdaus is also accused of cheating one of the men on the payment of sales and service tax for the project, amounting to 500,000 ringgit at a bank branch in Kajang on December 13th, 2023. The charges were framed under Section 420 of the Penal Code, punishable with imprisonment of up to 10 years, whipping and a fine if convicted. The court fixed bail at 50,000 ringgit with 1 surety and set September 27th for case remention. Nightline draws to a close this time around. We leave you with visuals of a 102-year-old woman who celebrated her birthday by skydiving from a height of 7,000 feet over Suffolk, England, becoming Britain's oldest skydiver. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for tuning in and have a nice day ahead.